And we are back, and we just finished watching 1935's The 39 Steps. This is rated approved with a runtime of 1 hour and 26 minutes. This comes to us from director Alfred Hitchcock with writing credits to John Buchan, Buchan? Buchan? For his novel, an adaptation by Charles Bennett, and dialogue, I guess screenplay by Ian Hay. This stars Robert Donat as Hanny, who is swept up in some intrigue while in London. He's a Canadian, but he's in London, I guess, for business. They don't really specify, but at the end of Mr. Memory's show in a music hall, he meets this woman named Annabella Smith, who confesses that she's the one that pulled the trigger on a gun to kind of divert the people at this music hall so that she could escape two guys that were tailing her. She seems to imply that she's a spy and that she is on the cusp of trying to thwart out the evil plans of a man who's missing the tip of his pinky. And somehow he just brings her home and lets her sleep in his bed. And in the night, she comes to him and she has a dagger in her back. And from there, hijinks ensue. This is your first time watching this?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I still, when you say like he gets swept up in all this, he is extremely nonchalant about how he is swept up into it. It's sort of just like, okay, you want to come to my house? Sure. And it's like, okay, I could see that happening in a film that took place maybe now, but in the 1930s, I always got the impression that that sort of thing wasn't done unless, maybe she was a prostitute or something.
Well, maybe he thought he was going to get lucky.
That's the only reason why I think he invited her. And then, yeah, he's on business, but like what kind of place was he staying at where the main lobby just has a giant board with everybody's name on it?
I'm assuming, that's a good question. I got the impression that this was like maybe this was an apartment that he owned or something, or that he frequented, that he had his actual stuff in, because it seemed like he was very familiar here. And it wasn't like...
I noticed that, like, on the big board, everybody's name was printed all nice and neat, but his name was sort of slapped on there.
Kind of, yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know what was going on with his career, or what was he actually doing.
Or maybe he was just coming into, like, maybe these were like corporate apartments. I mean, you don't really get a lot of backstory from him. You just know that he's at this place. He goes to see Mr. Memory for entertainment, and then shots are fired and he gets swept up in the tsunami of people trying to get out of the music hall. And he meets this woman who she's attractive, and she invites herself to his place, and he brings her. And then she drops little hints, like she has to go to Scotland to meet a man who will help thwart this thing out, to beware of the guy with the missing tip on his pinky. She talks about the 39 steps.
And she's always like hot, like she's like, keep the light off. And then she runs and hides behind a wall. And then she's like, okay, you could turn the light on.
Or turn the mirror around.
Turn the mirror around so they can't see me.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I mean, she was a spy. Mm-hmm. So I guess when you're a spy, you kind of constantly have to look behind your back, I guess.
I guess so. But apparently she didn't look behind her back enough, because suddenly there was a knife in it. And she just how did whoever come into his apartment to do that, and he didn't realize, like, he didn't hear anything? That's another thing I just don't get. It's like...
Well, I think these films from the 30s, I mean, I think he'd had to suspend a lot of disbelief, right?
Yeah, a ton, because she literally comes up to him with a knife in her back, dies...
Clutching this map of Scotland.
Clutching the map of Scotland. And then his phone is like, why are the killers trying to call him up? And why are they just hanging still outside of his house? Why didn't they just kill him while he was sleeping?
Well, that was another thing I said to you. I was like, maybe they hurled a knife through the window, but that doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense either. She was sleeping in his bed.
Yeah.
And he was like, what, on the couch, I guess, or some other place?
I think on the couch.
And suddenly she's just got a knife in her back, and that's not like a marksman thing. It's just in the Marvel universe. She wasn't killed by Bullseye. Why didn't they just kill him? And why are they trying to contact him afterwards? It just didn't make any sense. And then suddenly he's just, well, I'm going to go on the run. I'm not going to call the police. I'm going to just go on the run, and I have this wild story that nobody believes.
But to his credit, like, what could he have told the police? Like, even, like,
he could have told them the truth.
But he tells that guy in Scotland, and the guy in Scotland, like, ratted him out and was like, no, I don't believe you. You think I'm going to...
Well, that's the thing. It's hard. The more he runs, the harder it is to believe. He could have literally called the police and said, hey, there's 2 guys outside my house right now. They're waiting for me, and they killed a woman that's in my house. And they would have picked those 2 guys up.
But those guys wouldn't have said anything.
It doesn't matter.
And plus, he's got the dead woman in his apartment. So there's a chance that he probably couldn't have talked his way out of this.
I mean, he's not covered in blood or anything.
Yeah, but it's his apartment, and it's not. This is like before forensic science, right?
Yeah.
I doubt they're fingerprinting. Although I was like, you know what's so funny? I'm watching it, and I'm like, did they have phones in the 30s? I guess they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, I was like, did they have phones?
I remember there was an episode of Little House on the Prairie where they had a phone.
And they had a phone. So, so that makes sense. I don't know. I think that I understand what you're saying, but I also feel like
there is a huge need to suspend disbelief in this movie. But like I said, he is very nonchalant about this whole thing. He just is suddenly like, okay, well, I'm just going to go and solve this mystery. It's almost like, was he a detective?
No, he was probably like a salesman or something.
But there he goes. He's crossing the country, going to solve this mystery. He's going to go to Scotland. He's going to contact the professor or whatever. Basically get attacked by several people along the way, jump off a train. He goes through all of this. And then he meets this woman who's just like...
pissed off.
Yeah, well, I mean, she should be. She just busts into her car, and he sees that they're coming, so he just kisses her, and he's like, go along with it. Just go along with it, please. These people are trying to arrest me. And he's like expecting her to be like, okay. And the one thing that you don't have to suspend disbelief on at all is her basically being like,
this is the guy.
Yeah, this is the guy you're looking for right here.
She ratted
his ass out immediately. That was the most believable thing. But then at the end, she shows back up again, and they end up getting handcuffed to each other, and then eventually she finds out, oh, this guy's legit.
Yeah, he's telling the truth.
And and he's got a cute pencil mustache.
What did you think about? I mean, this is pretty. It's not a complex story.
This is a very rudimentary story. It almost felt like an old like if they had broken this thing up in installments, it would have felt like one of those old serials,
like radio serials,
like radios. Yeah, where it's like Buck Rogers at the end of everything. There's some sort of what's happening next week.
Don't forget to buy Ovaltine.
Yeah, don't forget. Yeah, exactly. It felt like that, including with the sort of like unbelievable element, like Mr. Memory.
Yes.
If you they keep talking about Mr. Memory. Mr. Memory is like a vaudeville act.
Mm-hmm.
And basically he just stands up on stage and he's like, I memorize 50 facts every day. So you could ask me anything, and everybody in the audience is just screaming out like, how old is Mae West?
That was the most popular freaking question.
They kept asking that goddamn question. How old is Mae West? And then there was the farmer who's just like, why do chickens get the pip?
Yeah.
And he just really wanted it, and his wife is just like, shut up. You're showing you're rural.
That poor guy.
Yeah, he just wanted to know what was wrong with his chickens. Anyway, Mr. Memory, you ask him a question, he'll give you the answer.
And
apparently
that
was entertainment back then.
But I feel we could spoil this because this is from 1935.
This is almost
This is almost 100 years old. This movie is 90 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. This film was planning its burial. Yeah.
So we come to find out that the guy with the missing pinky is trying to sell important intelligence secrets, and he enlisted Mr. Memory to memorize a document.
But you don't know about that till the very
end. Yeah. And I felt like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I felt like the pacing on this was decent. I thought that the story from A to B was decent. I thought putting aside your suspense of disbelief on certain items, I felt like it moved well. It told a story well. It wasn't anything spectacular, but it was still entertaining.
Yeah,
in a very kind of wholesome way, and I could see like 1930s audiences being like at the edge of their seats trying to figure out like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen with our hero here? Is he going to be okay? So in that sense, I think this film still endures because I feel like if you're a person of a certain age, if you like clean, wholesome kind of entertainment, there's some nefarious activities underneath, but you don't see anything. And then there's also implied like domestic abuse, but again, you don't see anything. You just hear a woman scream out, I guess, or cry out after her husband hits her. But for the most part, this is like a PG film.
Oh God, it's 100% tame. The most graphic thing is when she's the lady in the beginning slumps over and she has a knife sticking out of her back, and even then, there's no blood or anything.
No geysers of blood or anything like that. Yeah, it's not gratuitous or anything.
Yeah, I was just like thinking about it, and it's sort of like this mystery. I guess it goes back to what I was saying, how it felt more like a serial. Like this felt more. It felt like more like it was designed for, I guess, younger minds, almost like children. Like the only thing missing, if this had a talking dog, it'd be Scooby-Doo.
Kind of, yeah.
Because there is like that sort of thing. It's like, oh, it's Mr. Memory. And they pull the mask off, and it's like, I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you kids.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of felt like a little bit. Like pencil mustache guy, Henny. Was it? Hanny. He was the sort of reluctant detective in this whole thing. And there was, like I said, the fact that he was just so nonchalant about it, it gave it this sort of very simple thing. It's just like, well, gee, I guess I better solve the mystery. And I'm coming along too, even though I think you're a murderer.
Well, I mean, to her credit, she wants no parts of him. She sees him on the train, she rats him out, and she sees him again at that assembly, and she gets the cops involved. And then, well, she thinks that they're cops, right? But they're not. And then they wind up together, Richard and Pamela, and they go to like some little, I guess, bed and breakfast, and they're going to spend the night there.
Yeah, and thank God that the innkeeper's wife is just like, oh, you're on the run? Ooh, how romantic.
Yes.
She just did not care.
Yeah. They could have been married and she would have covered for them.
She's just like, F the police.
Yes.
Get out of here. I ain't ratting those people out.
But what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. What was I saying? I don't remember.
I forget too.
I mean, there's really nothing to critique here. I could absolutely see how this is the precursor and an influence to other films. This is an Alfred Hitchcock film. This is probably in the earlier parts of his filmography, but it still holds up. There were a couple of shots that felt very Hitchcock-esque, if that's a word. And I could see how this is like the beginning of his director's career path, I guess, because a lot of this film is sort of a template for how his later films look and how those storytelling experiences pan out on the big screne. I think
there was one shot that stood out to me that wasn't, I wouldn't say Hitchcock-esque, but there was one. It was interesting because I'd never seen a shot like that in such an old movie because it was so dynamic. It was when they were in the car being taken by those two guys, and he films inside the car at the back seat, and then it's like suddenly the camera pulls away and revolves around the outside of the car as the car is driving away. And
then you see the outside of the...
Yeah, it was like it went from interior to exterior with the car driving off into the distance. And I was like, wow, that's pretty dynamic for 1935.
Yes, I think I remember hearing you say that.
I've never seen a film that old. I mean, usually it's like, okay, cut to exterior of the car, cut to interior of the car. And when they're in the car, you just see like the fake movie projected in the background of the road going behind them. This was like, there was definitely some experimentation going on there as far as like getting that type of shot. And I wonder if the reason why you just never saw it is because I imagine it was probably super difficult to set that shot up.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So that one shot really impressed me. I was like, yeah, 1935. Wow. That's something you'd see today.
Right. Right.
And like they would probably need some sort of special effect to get that to work properly. A boom camera or something like that.
What did you think of the final resolution of the film? When everything comes to light.
It was neat. It got wrapped up with a bow. It all happened in the last like 5 minutes. I think, I mean, he was in the setting for the ending. Just, I guess he was like trying to figure things out. And then while he was there, it just sort of like snapped into place for him. And he realized what was going on.
Right.
It was a little weird with how Mr. Memory, I guess, worked.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because it was almost like he had the way they made it sound at the end, it felt like he had no control over his talent. Where it was just like, what are the 39 steps? And he just, okay, he just starts blurting out plans for a plane.
Yeah.
Like he had no control whatsoever. You know,
he goes into like a trance.
He goes into a trance. And he just starts rambling on as he's dying, basically. So yeah, that was a little weird at the end. But I guess, like I said, this felt very rudimentary, almost childlike. Not in a bad way, just
right.
The presentation didn't match the content. Mm-hmm. The content felt very much like it should have been like a cartoon. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the only thing missing was a talking dog.
And a stoner kid.
Yeah. Talking dog, stoner kid, guy with an ascot.
Any other thoughts?
No, not really. It's an interesting film in that it's old, like you said. You could definitely see the beginnings of Hitchcock's style. Aside from that one shot, which I flagged, which just to me seemed really dynamic. But yeah, it's just a very basic story. You absolutely need to suspend all disbelief, none of the characters are really, I guess, believable in their motives, aside from the blonde. Did she have a name? What was
Pamela.
Her? Pamela?
Mm-hmm.
Pamela's first reaction is probably the most believable reaction in the entire movie. After that, everybody is just sort of like going with the flow. And yeah, it's not bad. It's not the greatest thing I've ever seen, but it's not bad.
Yeah, yeah. I also thought it was interesting because people are reading newspapers. This is how they're getting their news. Could news from London have traveled that fast to Scotland?
Yeah, sure. I don't know if it would have been as big a story, because I'm sure there are people getting murdered in Scotland too. I don't think a story about somebody getting murdered in a flat in London
would have made
would
the Scotland
would have been
papers.
Like front page news in a Scottish newspaper.
Could have been a slow news week.
Could be, but I mean, I think this is also back when people just thought, "Oh, Scotland, yeah, it's a couple of farms." There's no cities out there, are there? No, I don't think so.
If you were going to give this a number from 1 to 10, what would you give it?
I'd give it like a 6.
A 6. I was going to give it a 7. I think I've seen this before. It's not my favorite Hitchcock movie, but I do enjoy it. It's not a long film, so it's not a lot of investment. And I think it's fun. I think you don't really have to delve too deep or think too hard on this. It's almost like one of these summer blockbusters. You just go in, eat your popcorn, and enjoy the show. I think all the performances were really good. I think the script is serviceable. It's not going to wow you. There's no really cool soliloquies happening, but I think at the same time, everyone does a really good job. All the characters are somewhat fleshed out and interesting, and you're on this journey with this character, the Richard character, to see if he will come out ahead and either vindicate himself or whether the law will finally catch up to him and throw his ass in jail for this woman's murder.
Mm-hmm.
We saw this on the TCM app. Was there a host intro? I don't remember. No, I think it just went right into the film.
Right into the story.
I forgot to figure out what the last day was, but if it's not there, I'm sure you can do a quick Google search and find this film playing somewhere. This is a 90-year-old film, but it's not bad. I mean, for something that's 90 years old, you would think that you would have like no stakes in the storytelling, but I think they made some really good choices. I think that they developed the characters well enough that you're invested in the story, that you want to see what's going to happen at the end. And while I could have done without the romance part of it, it's fine. I mean, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it.
You had to throw that stuff in there back then.
Yeah, I think
always romance.
Yeah, I think you had to kind of appeal to a wider audience, but it didn't really bother me. It wasn't egregious or anything. I could see these two being like enemies to lovers sort of situation, which is I think what they highlight here, because they couldn't stand each other at the beginning, and then by the end they're in love. They're like, the last shot is them reaching out and holding each other's hand.
And he's still got the handcuff on.
Yeah. So this is, I think if you're a film student, you should absolutely try and check this out just to see what the storytelling process or how that worked in a 1935 film from a master director like Hitchcock, who later becomes a name synonymous with like these thrillers and dramas. I think if you're looking for no frills, clean entertainment, I think this is a safe bet. I think what do you think? Like maybe 8 and up? I don't think audiences would be invested in this.
I don't think a child would be interested in this at all.
No,
this is something.
8 is too young.
Oh, the kids are going to be bored out of their minds with this.
Okay.
Maybe a very special kid who really likes old movies.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. All right. So that's it again from 1935, The 39 Steps. This was actually remade. I think I'm going to try and see if I can find it to watch. But I think this still holds up. I think it goes by quickly enough that you don't really, it doesn't overstay its welcome, and it's just enough. I think the story, the tensions are just enough, and I think the story moves at a decent pace. You never feel bored. You never feel put out. You never feel like there's a waste in the storytelling experience. And I think it works even now, almost 100 years later. I think you could watch this and be mildly entertained. You think they could remake this film now for a modern audience? They'd probably have to change a lot of stuff, though.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think this is definitely one of those films that is like the bones of something that could be
rebooted.
Yeah, absolutely remade. Especially you get a couple of charming leads and just maybe add a little bit of more realism to the motives of the characters. Maybe not make the lead just so nonchalant about what's going on, or if he is being nonchalant, give me a reason. Like, is he a detective? Is he a spy on his own? I don't know, but this guy, he didn't really have any sort of backstory.
No, you don't really know anything about him other than he's Canadian.
Yeah, we know he's Canadian, and he, for some reason, decided to go to this show.
All right. And again, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you all soon with another review. And with that, we will bid you all a
good night.
Good night.